Hey everyone, it's Byron again. I'm here to testify for Jesus Christ. I was coming home today. I saw one of those flags, or maybe this may have been on the back of someone's tire. You know how you carry a spare tire on the back of a Jeep? But it was a symbol of the snake that says, "Don't tread on me." In a snake, you can think of it as a serpent. You can think of it as an adder. And I connected it just, boom, there it was. I connected it with the tribe of Dan. The tribe of Dan is a serpent by the way to strike the horse's heel and to make the rider fall backwards. Tribe of Dan is also a judge. And I just thought, as I saw this, the death grip that's on Decatur, Alabama, and also the United States, to be honest with you. Going to talk about a couple things that I'm seeing here. Hopefully this will help you to see. But I'm going to explain this phrase that I've used for so many years now. I'll put the date that I first used it on Facebook right here on the screen. And the phrase is one hope hyphen Jesus Christ. The judgment of God is on the United States. There's so many jacked up things about this country. I've done some videos of late. One, I included divorce rates among white Americans, 35%. Divorce rates among black Americans, or well, hang on, let me rephrase this. The number of children who are born in a single parent home is 35% in the white population, 70% in black population. I think the Hispanics are 15 or 25%, and the other ones would probably be less because those are the three that I heard. And I also want you to understand that when a child is without a father, that child misses part of the discipline that child needs. And that child can grow up to be a very unruly child, up to and including incarceration and certain things that go on as a result of that. Then you have a society that not only lacks the discipline that a father could instill in a healthy home, but also have things that they believe it's my right to do this, it's my right to do that. You have nothing, and my glasses are crooked, but pay me no mind. It's my right to do this. And then there's a total lack of respect for their neighbor. There's a lack of respect for the police department, lack of respect for the fire department, lack of respect for the staff at a hospital, lack of respect for teachers. It's compounded. It's compounded. And when you start assembling the volume of people within a society that fit into these categories and that have this attitude, you get to a point where you have a formidable foe. The tribe of Dan is used to judge. And I passed a statue here last Monday here in Decatur, Alabama. The statue is of a lady. It looks kind of like a lady that, like the Statue of Liberty or something like that. But this one's holding a balance, like, the judge. That is another symbol that follows the tribe of Dan. In the left hand, I believe it was the balance, which, weighs things out, right or wrong. In the right hand was a sword. And there's some scripture let me see what I got pulled up here. It's Romans chapter 13. It says, "For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same." And you can go on and read that. That's Romans chapter 13. I read verse 3. But if you have a lot of people within your society believe, well, I got a right to talk back this, and I got a right to do that, and I got a right to take my drugs, and I got a right to abuse authority, and I got a right. Or, and this probably all coupled together as one, they were never taught. They never had, say, a man in the house to shame them or to spank them or to make them realize you have to respect authority. A good example of this is I have someone very close to me that works in the school system and says, "Oh my gosh, the kids are terrible." I have another person very close to me who is a principal, has been a principal, and currently works with some kind of special needs people. They had a student that came to school, and they had to teach the student that it was wrong to steal from other people. This person showed up at school age and didn't realize stealing other people's things was wrong. Okay, so let's just say it's 6 years old or 7 maybe, and a child doesn't know that taking something from somebody else is wrong. You just wasted 6 years. I mean, honestly, toddlers that barely understand language should be able to comprehend. Don't take something that doesn't belong to you. That's just how it should be. So you take all this, you put it into a society, and this society has to be judged. It has to. It's impossible for a society to thrive in the condition that it's in. And the judge, as I've mentioned earlier, is the tribe of Dan. You can read about this in the Old Testament. So if you look in the King James, look for the snorting of horses that came from Dan or could be heard from Dan. They are the judge. They are, but unfortunately, they are also the people that Jesus told back in Jerusalem in his day, your father is the devil, because Dan jumped track. They jumped track from Jehovah to worship another god. Ultimately, I believe nowadays through Freemasonry, who falls under the tribe of Dan, you could say it's Lucifer. Anyway, I say the death grip that's on Decatur, Alabama, because, and I've said this in the city council meeting, they have a comment section, and you can speak your own mind if you're willing to go in there and take some stuff that may be dished out at you. But I went in there, and I've said this several times in the city council meeting, said it's almost like I'm torn. I'm torn between, yes, we do need just judgment, and we do need a correction, but dadgummit, man, these are my friends and family in this place, so it's like, it's hard. But they are given the role of cleaning house, cleaning up, things like that. But they believe, or at least they make it appear that destroying the police department is a thing to do. If a police officer makes a decision, oh, so-and-so did this and so-and-so did that. And, I even heard one time where a lady admitted the police came to my house, asked us to turn the music down. We had plans on turning the music down. The police were on the way out. And then she started talking. And that's when the police came in here and started doing all this stuff. Well, the city council, 3 of the city council members, and pretty much the whole unanimous decision within the people that were there at the meeting, said the police were wrong. So how are the police wrong when the police ask you to turn the music down, you say you're going to turn it down, the police begin to leave, and somebody starts talking whatever, and you don't know what it said. But then you have the death grip, which is at City Hall and throughout the city council, and those people say the police should have never done that, when the police were probably making a lawful entry into a home to possess this person that started talking whatever. And that person ended up, I think, jumping out a window to run from the cops. So you have people, they believe it's their right to disrespect authority. They believe it's their right to make it difficult for an officer to do his job and do his function. And then they want to sue if the officer successfully accomplishes his mission, but someone who was resisting in some form or fashion, when they get put into their place, these people want it to be the officer's fault. And what I mean by death grip is they're controlling the city, and this is through Freemasonry, Eastern Star, sororities, fraternities. They're driving the city to a point where they will eventually bring in the military. I've done a thing, I'll put the date, the first mention of the military being used against us. It's not going to be pretty. There's already a law in the United States it's called posse comitatus. Now, the governor can call out troops in the National Guard in a state. But when you start dealing with troops that are trained in combat, trained for combat, and you start putting them in civilian situations, man, they'll start popping cap. I'm telling you, I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I know how a military guy thinks. It's not like a civilian guy thinks. There will be people happy or having fun shooting civilians. And that is an objective of the tribe of Dan. They want to usurp the authority, supplant the current powers that be, get them out, impose another will. a martial law. And then once the martial law is imposed, the way the Lord has shown it to me, there will be a period of time of gun confiscation. There'll be a period of time where there is I would say it's called reprogramming or indoctrination, to where they will say, well, I used to think like Christians do, but now I think like this. And they're going to ultimately lead people to say the words, most worshipful master, for a man who's represented here on the earth. And eventually that man will be Barack Hussein Obama, the Antichrist, who says, bow down and worship me, and will make war with the saints. Unfortunately, I see this stuff coming. The Lord showed me this is coming. These guys know it's coming, and it frustrates them that I know that I tell them what they're fixing to do, because the Lord has done this. And God always promised. I never like to say that I'm a prophet, but God always promised to show his prophets what he, God, Jehovah, is going to do. This nation has been judged, and the tribe of Dan and those that are under it are going to be used in that process, and that includes Freemasonry. Those people extend all the way down inside the police department. So you have current officers sabotaging current peace and operations so that we can declare a martial law, perhaps even suspend the Constitution, enforce a new religion. That's coming. That is coming. That's coming. I've been talking about things similar to this since 2011 publicly. People have had their opportunity to listen, or they've had their opportunity to continue on their way. This is tribulation. This is coming. It's coming to the United States. I've said many times the United States is Mystery Babylon. Mystery Babylon, if you go into the scriptures, I'll put the thing on the screen for you. They made it hard. I said they laid your yoke, very, very heavily laid the yoke on the ancient. And that's speaking of Christians in that context from the Old Testament. But then they said, because thou hast done this, I'm going to judge you, or words to that effect. I'll try to put it all on the screen while I'm going through this and not getting the quotes in. So Mystery Babylon will eventually be destroyed for what they did to Christians in the United States. And I'm going to be honest with you, the Freemasons and those in their circles are probably the ones that invented the pre-tribulation rapture that makes all the Christians don't listen to prophets. And all the Christians would be like, well, man, everything's going to be great because we're going to get raptured out of here before anything happens. And lo and behold, you're caught in a trap. So the death grip, it's not going to be released. It's not letting up. I can tell you, I've said this to the city council members who I believe personally, your Lord has shown me they are Russian, because they are working to overthrow. Russia will be one of the countries of the 10 that gives its power to the beast, Obama, and executes judgment on the United States and shuts this place down forever. I mean, gosh, it's going to be ugly around here, man. But the Lord showed me Obama is a Russian plant, tribe of Dan through Russia, working out through there. The Bolshevik Revolution was a revolution executed by the tribe of Dan. The current revolution in the United States is a revolution executed by the tribe of Dan. Barack Hussein Obama, just look at his lineage. He's related to about 5 other U.S. presidents. Tribe of Dan, tribe of Dan, tribe of Dan. They're doing this, man. It's either the tribe of Dan or Freemason, those executing judgment as Freemasons through the tribe of Dan. It's coming. I don't care how many Freemasons walk up to you and say, Byron's lost his mind. Byron has not lost his mind, because Byron did not make this up. Byron got this from God. So the death grip is here. There's some court cases. There's one court case going on. I think it's scheduled for June the 9th to determine if a police shooting, an officer-involved shooting was murder by the officer or not. It perhaps may get postponed. There's another one come up in Decatur of a firefighter. I think that's June 30th. He is appealing a decision that was made to demote him for actions that were, brought against him. That's already gone through the mayor's office and also what they call a personnel board. But he is, the word's slipping my mind, he is appealing that to a court. There's another case coming where there was another gentleman that was harmed during some process involving an arrest or incarceration somehow, and I don't know if he was harmed by there's an investigation going on. It's too early to say what harmed him. I did a video about that earlier and thought, well, maybe the taser had something to do with it. I don't know. Anyway, even though those cases exist, I'm telling you, if you're just thinking about those cases, you're not seeing the big picture, because the big picture is there is a revolution going on. The police department is being torn down. It is getting set up for martial law. And then once martial law is enacted, then you lose your rights as you know them. Guns will be confiscated. You're going to be taught another way of thinking. Christians are going to get persecuted. Those that do not deny Christ or change over to the new way of thinking, you're going to be persecuted. So against the ancient hast thou very, very heavily laid thy yoke. It's all there in the scripture. Your pastors perhaps don't speak of those things because they were raised and taught by Freemason infiltrated colleges where they teach them skewed doctrine. These things are coming, man, and it's going to be, this death grip is not letting up. It's continuing on. Now, to the phrase, one hope, Jesus Christ. There's a million different ideas that you can execute in your mind and think, well, what if I had a pistol and I was able to shoot my way out of this? You're not going to defeat a nuclear bomb. You have to realize, if you want to survive what's coming, is that you have to get yourself right with Jesus Christ, right with God, to the point he decides that he's going to save you through this coming sword. Jeremiah 51:50. Ye that have escaped the sword, stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off. Let Jerusalem come into your mind. Words to that effect. Jeremiah 51:50. That sword that we saw in that lady's hand that I put that picture up earlier, that's the tribe of Dan. They wield the sword. Judgment, justice. It's the sword. And Romans chapter 13 talks about people that if you do good, fine. But if you don't do good, it's coming. And you can get by in this society and be, say, well, I'm just perfect. I don't break any laws, and there's no reason for the police or anybody else to mess with me. If you don't do right by Jesus Christ, judgment is coming. And that includes if you are a Christian and you don't have your heart right with him. And by that, what I'm actually implying is, you can claim to be a Christian and be a Christian, but be half-hearted in the matter of fact, or have your mind on something else, what's called spiritual fornication. And when you do, you could be subject to great tribulation or judgment, just as mentioned in Revelation chapter 2, starting at verse 18 for the church of Thyatira. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to talk about that, the death grip. It's not going to let up. It is that snake, the tribe of Dan that I mentioned. It is coming. There is no way to avoid this. This is biblical prophecy. The only escape is to be someone who escapes the sword. And that sword is coming. And that one manner of escape is Jesus Christ. I did a video called Jesus Was With Me During the Invasion or something like that, some words to that effect. Check it out on YouTube. Jesus actually guided me. I saw him riding on his Pokey Pal Pokey 2 or whatever that is, the Gumby stuff. Pony. I saw him riding on his, donkey, excuse me. It's donkey. And I just want to mention this, man, because one time I was speaking at a city council meeting and certain people seemed to deny or to not think about dreams and visions being real. Dreams and visions are real. And I just want to tell you real quick, I have seen Jesus Christ in a vision on a cross. I walked over, touched his foot in this vision. His blood came down on my hand, and I turned white as snow everywhere his blood ran on my body. I'm telling you, there's power in the blood of Jesus Christ. Once before, I was looking to I had 2 job offers. I was looking at what am I going to do in this job situation. I prayed that night in a dream. Jesus Christ hovered over my bed and showed me showed me which job to take. The one I just mentioned, where he was directing me during the invasion. In that particular time, there was an East Coast invasion of the United States. He was directing me and shielding me. He was riding his donkey between the enemy and me. I'm trying to think. Nothing's coming to my mind real quick. These things are real, man. This is the spiritual. God created this earth for his pleasure. He put you on this earth. He predestined you. It is very possible. Some of the people that view this video, you are a vessel created for honor, and you are predestined to be with him for the rest of your eternity. But while here on this earth, don't let these people mislead you into thinking, well, I can just be half-hearted, because you're going to be judged for that. You're going to be judged. You're not going to go to hell, but in this life, you're going to be dealt with. You can read about that getting dealt with in this life in Psalm 89, where the seed of Jesus will live forever, but they'll get corrected in this lifetime. So anyway, I'm going to let you go. That was on my mind, the death grip, the tribe of Dan, the serpent, the snake, don't tread on me, etc. That came to my mind, and those ideas were in my head, so I'll let you go.